world, on average, there are about 50% of people who are multilingual speakers. However, in the US, only about 20% of people know more than one language. And this is because in many countries around the world, people are introduced to languages, to a second language at a very young age, around the elementary school level. However, in the US, students are only given the opportunity to even learn a language around middle or high school. So, but if the US were to include a second language learning program in the elementary school years, this would be massively beneficial to students because they would have an increased effectiveness in learning that language. They would have increased cognitive abilities and be provided with much more opportunities later in life. So, one of the main reasons to incorporate a second language learning program at the elementary school level is because it has been proven that students can much more easily learn a language at a younger age. And this is because of a hypothesis created by Penfield and Roberts called the critical period hypothesis, which states that there is a limited period of time where one can acquire a native-like proficiency in a language. And so the younger a person is, the more easily then they can acquire a language. And this hypothesis was actually supported by a study conducted by Mayberry and Locke, where they took a group of young children and adults and they exposed them to the same language for a set amount of time, and then they gave each group a test to see how much of that language they retained. And the younger children massively outperformed the adults because they were still in that period of time where they could acquire a native-like proficiency of the language. So, by teaching children at a younger age, they can more easily learn the language, and then by knowing a second language, they can obtain better cognitive abilities. And in a study conducted by Barak and Bialystok, they took two sets of children, one that knew multiple languages and one that only knew one language, and they performed many tests, including puzzle tests, and they found that the multilingual speaking children had much better critical thinking skills, multitasking abilities, and they had more improved memory than students who only knew one language. So, and they also found that because multilingual students had to constantly be processing two or more languages, they also had a much better verbal analysis than students who only knew one language. So by incorporating a second language learning program in the elementary school years, students can not only improve their learning of a second language, but they can also improve in other areas of school as well. And the third benefit to knowing a language is learning a language at a young age is that you're more likely to continue that education throughout your high school and college years, and when you do this, you can become fluent in that language and be provided with much more opportunities later in life. In an article written by Natasha Newman, colleges reported favoring students who knew two languages when being admitted to those colleges, and after college students who knew two or more languages had many more job opportunities, and according to an article written in The Economist, students fluent in two or more languages could earn up to $128,000 more than students who only knew one language. So, in conclusion, integrating a second language learning program into elementary schools is massively beneficial for many reasons. However, one of the most important reasons is that by knowing a second language, people can fully experience a separate culture and be able to communicate with many people all around the world. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Go to bed.
Thank you for listening, and learn a second language.
Yeah.
Would have been a better way to end it. 128,000.